This just in, we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
Oh, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes!
But police officers here are saying that they believe there is a hijacked plane now headed toward Washington.
One aide says when he spoke with his national security team in a live teleconference today, he said, quote, "We will find these people and they will suffer the consequences."
FBI, we need to ask you some questions.
Is he a terrorist?
My boyfriend is a good person.
I am an American citizen, living in this country for 35 years. I vouch for him.
FBI!
Malek?
America is at war with terrorists after a stunning series of attacks today against targets in New York and in Washington, D.C.
Hello everybody, welcome to Montreal Emerging Artist. I'm Youko, your host. Well, we have just watched the trailer of September 12th. It's the Malek Hajri short film. It's a young Tunisian artist. And today we're gonna have one of the main actors of the movie, Jonathan. Alright, so Jonathan, how are you?
Great, hello, it's nice to meet you. Thank you
Nice to
for
meet
having
you
me
too.
on the show.
Tell us about the movie.
I played an uncle of a young man who seemed to be having maybe some problems because of who he was and where he was coming from. It would seem that after September 11th, there was a lot of suspicion for anybody who didn't quite look like they were American or white. Anybody with a little bit of color in them was suspect to being Muslim or having terrorist ties. And I guess he had some problems with the government. Understandable that whether you're Muslim or not, if you're a person of color, at that time with such a tragedy, with so many lives being taken and such mass destruction on physically the United States of America, that anybody that didn't quite look American, that was like brown or a little bit different, without even having to speak or knowing where they were from, was probably suspect. Somewhat like earlier on in the Second World War, when they rounded up all the Japanese people that had migrated to the United States and kept them all in camps. I guess they went around and questioned everybody.
Yeah, so we can see that there was, in this movie there was a strong link with September 11th.
Yeah, it's going to be a very big mark in history for immigration, especially.
Being an actor in the movie.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I like to challenge myself to do things that I don't normally do, and I found the experience easy, and I could relate to it being also a person of color and seeing after September 11th the way that some people would look at me as I walk down the street, you know, like without opening your mouth or having an accent, because if you're not looked the right way, trouble.
Yeah. Another question, do you feel like people have changed their mind about after September 11 and all the substation, all kind of stuff?
I think some people, it's changed for the better. They realize more of their surroundings and don't take for granted that they're safe just because there's an ocean between them and where trouble or war is. I also think that it may have worsened some situations with some people to heighten the racism and prejudice for people that are not of their species, shall we say.
Okay, pretty good. Well, that was a pleasure to have you today on the show, and we hope to see you again in another movies. And
well, thank you very much.
Our next guest is going to be Malek, actually the director, actor, writer of the movie. So, Malek, how are you today?
Hello, Youko, and thanks for having me.
So, tell us about your movie. What inspired you? Because I see that movie is September 12. It's I think that there is a link with September 11.
There is actually a link with September 11. This movie is actually a true story. I used to live in the States. I actually lived there for 10 years, and what happened in the movie actually happened to me. I was there during the tragedy of September 11, and actually, you know, what's in the movie is The FBI, one day I, received a call from, my ex-girlfriend. She calls me, she's like, the FBI is looking for you. It's like, yeah, at that point I was like, is that for real? Then, we met up, she told me the story, and they actually came to my house and questioned me, but I'm like really lucky because I'm here. I have some of my friends that got arrested, others that actually got deported.
That's too bad.
And it was a really terrible situation, but actually right now, same things are happening in Tunisia, where I'm from. Government is just shooting on people, on innocent people, just because they are like protesting him. He doesn't want to get out of the power. So these things don't really just happen in the States. This movie was more about everybody, basically, that any minority that is just in an extraordinary situation, that they might be arrested, killed, or just suspect for something they didn't do, just because they might fit a profile, or because they raised their voice, or they didn't agree with something.
It's very, very sad to hear that. So I can imagine it was really difficult for you, like, to act in this movie, because when you have lived this kind of situation, it's kind of fucked up to do it, like, to have the same emotion and all that kind of stuff.
Well, at first, like, writing the script, like, really helped me, because for the first time I got to get my frustration and put it on a piece of paper, and starting a process of healing. But then when I acted in the movie, it was like really hard, because at some point during the movie, during some of the interrogations, because we redid the scenes, but at some point it was so real, with Frank Mosquito, like, playing Agent Wright, and with you playing Agent Paul. It was so real that I went back to that memory, to that moment in time, and it was difficult, but in the same time it was really good for me to do that, because it helped me move on.
Okay. So when will we have the pleasure to see the movie?
The movie is actually going to be out in Cinéma du Parc on January 23rd, and starting from 12 until 2.
All right, that's pretty good, pretty good.
And
so we want to see that.
Thank you,
right.
Youko. Thanks for having me.
It was a Montreal emerging artist, and it was a pleasure to have you today.
بدل وجهه فيو تمنيت لو كان نغيب بعدني وانا قريب وليت انسان غريب